Who were Sam's least favorite co-stars this past season? What's the surprising secret behind Balfe and Heughan's spicy scenes? And which Outlander blokes are now traveling the Highlands together? Hi, I'm Janet. Let's get some answers. Drama queens on set. Let's spill the beans on who Sam and some of the other actors struggled to work with. It's probably not what you'd expect, because it turns out to be the child actors of Season 5. What a relief, right? Because I was worried about trouble in paradise between some of the adult actors. Sam told Express, "They're so cute, but it's just very hard for young children." Balfe agreed, saying, "They're so sweet, but that age is so difficult." Sam definitely doesn't love them the most. To give the cranky old adults a break, the Outlander producers came up with a clever solution by casting twins to play the part of Jemmy. This allows the kids to take a rest when they need a break. Shame. It must be tough for the young ones to stay focused. They must get so tired. It's not just Sam and Kat who complained. Several other cast members also expressed some good-natured frustration about working with them. Both Skelton and Rankin admitted it wasn't always smooth sailing, with the latter sharing how the twins yell at him the most, especially since he enjoys teasing them. But we think Lauren Lyle's hilarious explanation sums up the situation best.
We've got one tiny little baby and then another one who's like a raucous little teenager in a 5-year-old's body. So today's mainly been about handling that, and it's been great. No one's stressed. It's fine. It's great. It's great.
Sophie shares the same sentiment, joking about how they love to scream murder as soon as the director yells, "Action!" only to be perfectly fine when he shouts, "Cut!" Of course, that sounds about right. Regardless, she clearly loves the pair if her social media is to be consulted. In one post, she wished their TV kids a happy 4th birthday, saying she loves them a lot. Awesome! Now that that's been clarified, let's continue with our investigative work into the Outlander cast relationships. Compliments versus insults. Is there anyone in the cast who likes to hide his compliments in what seems like insults at first glance? Watch to learn. Actually, most of the actors enjoy pulling the other's leg every now and then. Sometimes it's Kat, like when she joked with Sam about her first impressions of him compared to later, once she got to know him.
I mean, I've said this a million times, but you know, some people you walk into a room and they're very posery and they've got a lot of ego and there's a lot of posturing. That didn't come till much later with him.
Don't you just love Sam's self-satisfied smirk in this interview? I can't get enough of it. And she's not done teasing him. After Season 5's snakebite episode, she joked about seeing how scared Sam was of the maggots. It was also kind of fun shoving them in his face, she said, on the Starz Insta feed. At other times, they're serious about dishing out compliments about their co-stars. Like when Sam sang Balfe's praises in an interview with Gold Derby. She's intellectual, extremely intelligent, and she's always very caring. So I think I'm just so lucky. To be able to trust each other has been the most important part of this. These two are simply the best. But anyways, here comes the answer to the question. Out of all of them, Duncan's Insta account is surely the funniest one to browse, and he is indeed the one who loves a good undercover compliment. If you're ever bored, just scroll through his posts and read the captions. It looks like Duncan has the old school, "I'm a man's man" philosophy, where you don't say straight out how much you love someone, but first have to code it in a fake insult. Listen and learn. Was deleting old photos when I came across this ghastly visage. I understand these two world-class a-holes, Graham and Sam, have a show wherein they will grace you with a tour of the Scottish Highlands. McTavish and Heughan, on the other hand, don't seem to share the same mindset and are not in the least shy about giving credit where it's due. For example, Graham has often praised Duncan's acting, and Sam has revealed how much they missed him when his character, Murtaugh, had to leave the show so tragically. So they were all ecstatic in Season 5 when their mate could return for the dream sequence's flashback scenes. Is your heart glowing yet? If not, then surely Skelton and Balfe's lovely relationship should do the trick. Whenever you see them in photos, they're either hugging or goofing around, or confessing how well they get along.
It's always great working with Sophie. I think we've built up this really lovely relationship over the years, and you know, it's always touching, and those moments are always really special to us.
Now, if you thought it's only the main stars who get along swimmingly, then think again. While the villain Stephen Bonnet was hated by all, his real-life counterpart, Ed Spaliers, is a beloved cast member. As Sophie captured on her Insta, Bonnet might be an utter, unnameable word goes here. Spaliers is all right, really, isn't he? She continues to say how much they'll all miss working with him. In other news, Skelton said Sam and Kat are two of her favorite people on the planet, and that she loves them to little tiny rugby ball-sized pieces. Well now, working relationships sweeter than this are hard to find, and that's a fact. But while things might seem all moonshine and roses, not everything is always as it seems. On-set awkwardness. Most of us have probably wondered how it must be to film the intimate scenes Sam and Cat have to, right? Is it as glamorous and natural as it looks? Certainly not, particularly if you consider how technical and rehearsed these types of scenes are, not to mention how many reshoots they require until they're perfect. So let's see what the two actors have to say about it. In reality, the pair both admitted to being a bit shy before each new season. Even though they're great friends, they do live their lives apart, so when they meet up again at the beginning of each new season, things are somewhat uncomfortable. What? Yes, as Heughan told Gold Derby, that first day back at work, it's almost like we're tiptoeing or slightly shy of each other, and then we fall back into our routine. Once they're reacquainted, Sam says they're like kids. We're idiots, you know. We laugh a lot. We talk rubbish, but it's great to have her. I couldn't be more thankful to have such a great co-star. Standing together. When the going gets tough, as it did for Sam, does the cast have each other's backs? Yes, yes. Triple yes. Sam recently went public about the horrific online bullying and harassment he has had to endure for years. All of us were shocked and appalled to hear about the cruelty of some people. But it looks like the old saying, a trouble shared is a trouble halved, is true. The words had barely left his keyboard, where the whole Outlander cast, production team, and devoted fans jumped in to have his back. From Stephen Cree and David Barry to executive producer Marl and author Diana, the list of people who spoke up for him is long. For example, Richard slammed down on the unacceptable, aberrant behavior from those determined to fabricate to suit themselves and whatever nonsense narrative fits their fantasy that day. In turn, Sophie stressed how people should stop throwing sticks and stones, as screens don't protect actors from them. Thankfully, we have a very close cast. Standing together. We love you, Heughan. Caitriona also shared a lengthy piece condemning such behavior and wondering out loud whether this small part of the fandom should rather harness their negative energy into doing something good for their local charities. Well said, Kat. Fellow adventurers. Many of the actors have been seen hiking and having fun outings together, like when Sophie, Sam, Duncan, and David got some fresh air on a mountaintop. Also, Sam has done a few trails with Kat and her sis and attended Balfe's wedding to her long-term boyfriend, Tony McGill, last year. So, were you wondering who's traveling the Highlands together? You probably know the answer already. It's Sam and Graham. These two are thick as thieves and now even have their own show on Starz. In Men in Kilts, they explore the countryside, be it bike, motorcycle, boat, van, or their own two legs.
I cannot believe that this was your idea of a good time.
Story of two men who know nothing.
Man, aren't they just two peas in a pod? I think they could pass as father and son if you didn't know better. Now, if that doesn't get you in the feelings, the next part will. Drinking pals. Who loves having a dram together? Or two? Or three? As far as we can tell, most of them. What else are friends for than to have lots of fun and drinks together, right? And when it's one of their birthdays, they've got even more reason to celebrate. One example can be found at last year's New York Comic-Con, when the interviewer asked Kat how she celebrated her birthday the previous day. She replied,
I had a dinner with some of my favorite people. Yeah. And we are all feeling wonderful today.
We feel good. Yeah.
Please tell me you had plenty of whiskey last night.
No whiskey, but plenty of other stuff.
You can see from how they interact that they've become great friends. And we all know, wonderful is code for them nursing baby hangovers. On the topic of birthdays, they rarely forget those important dates. If you take a look, you'll see their Instagram accounts are full of happy B-Day wishes. Like when Bree, Sophie Skelton, celebrated her on-screen da in real life. She calls Sam a jokester and crazy legend and says he deserves the most incredible day, then goes on to joke about him celebrating the big 5-0. Aww. How sweet! On Sophie's birthday, Sam returned the favor, writing, "Happy birthday, Mini Ginger," accompanied by a shot of one of their most emotional scenes together. And this is but one last example of too many to count over the years. It's Duncan Lacroix congratulating Graham McTavish, pint in hand of course, as, quote, "a great man and a fine friend." Just for good measure, let's show you proof of more great friendship vibes. It's Sam and Kat, Richard and Sophie at work. Don't you wish your job was this much fun? Also, here's David Barry, Sophie, and the infamous Duncan, clearly not being enemies. And it looks like there's a budding friendship between Sophie and Lizzie's Caitlin O'Ryan. Skelton captioned this Instagram pic of the two spending time together in London during lockdown with, "Alternate ending, Lizzie and Brianna elope and buy a boat." We all need more feel-good news in our lives. Don't you agree? The Outlander cast looks like a tight-knit family, and that makes us happy. Let us know which real-life friendship is your favorite. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and stay awesome!